Okay, cameras are rolling.
Yeah, let me suck my stomach in.
Key grip. Suck yourself.
Oh, take one.
Take one. Key grip Gene Hove is here. Bro, Gene looks official.
Yeah, he does.
You're just missing like the fucking furry mic.
The boom mic. The boom mic.
Is that, what's it called?
Yeah, boom mic.
Boom?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Ooh, nice. Shit, Fourth Mill, we're back. And this guy has been flaking on us for like 5 years. No, I'm just kidding. We've been talking about doing a podcast forever. Sometimes he'd flake, sometimes I would flake.
Yeah, it was mutual flaking.
It was a lot of mutual flaking going on, bro. But MikiWar, welcome finally.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
This is going to be a very special podcast because this is how to get rich after DJing.
Yeah.
This is like information I want to know. You know,
my
like
God.
This is like
I didn't know the setup. Now I know. I got told the title now.
Selfishly ask a lot of questions, bro.
Yeah.
Exit strategy, you know. No, man, I got a lot to talk about. We were talking off the mic early in the like live podcast streaming.
Yeah.
With the Mickey D's show, with the live fucking sets. I remember watching Epic 12.
Yeah.
I think A-Track did it. Yeah.
A-Track did it.
A-Track, Epic 12. I remember being like too scared to chat because then I'm like, he's gonna invite me to do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in there and be nervous as shit.
Yeah, you
like,
would deny us every time.
No, it wasn't, dude. I was just too scared.
Yeah, same.
I
would never do any podcast.
Because you know what it is.
But you did it.
You fucked up.
I did. Yeah.
Oh, he did do it.
Vibe did do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was scary.
Vibe did do it. We were very
scary.
yeah.
I remember.
I was scared.
You're just on the spot, like, all right.
I'm
now
like,
you
dude,
gotta
I
do a
don't
set.
practice. Like,
Dog, it's like a room, and then you invite mad DJs, so they're
All
just mad
DJs.
DJs in there, just like, all right, what are you gonna do?
Well, they invite themselves. You know how DJs operate.
That's true too.
They see you going somewhere, they're like, oh. Can I
But
pull
dude,
up?
it's a room full of like,
Yeah.
I'm here to criticize and watch and judge you.
We probably took like a couple shots. Maybe,
For sure, absolutely.
Just to like loosen up. But yeah,
that was the tradition.
Yeah.
And it was a live show, right?
Yeah.
Live on Ustream?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to give you like a full like.
Yeah, how did this start?
So really, DJ City had never been like front facing. You know, shout out to Quickie,
What's up,
and,
Quickie?
and the team.
The
you know, they were doing an amazing job with a great like brand and like work and all that stuff early on. And
Post Rehab Records.
Yeah, well, so yeah, shout out to Rehab and shout out to Hapa, Scratch Academy. Like I actually, it's funny. I haven't told everybody, but I think people know is like I was a product of Scratch Academy. Like I went in there,
I actually knew that,
not knowing what an RCA cable was. Like that
shit.
level of just dumb.
Holy
like
shit.
And not knowing anything. And you know, I went through the ranks and you know did all the like
you finished the program?
mobile events. Yep, did a couple free mobile events. You know, that's how you get your experience.
No,
you know,
for
you
sure.
earn your way onto Serato by being on vinyl. That's how you sell you more records.
Okay.
But you know, it was all a part of the process, and I was never against the hard work. And
Wait, so what year was this?
this was 2005.
Okay.
I joined Scratch Academy.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
And then
So this is like right when people were even
bubbling.
getting on Serato.
yeah, like I still remember people being on it but not trusting it and like still carrying like an extra crate.
Oh yeah, all of us.
That was me.
Yeah,
that's
100%,
probably
bro.
all of
What?
us.
Yeah. And then like my first real like gig was like opening for Hop at Circle Bar in Santa Monica.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I was still like 20, so like I would like bring crates in, you know, the whole thing, like sneak in with the crates. My hands are full, I can't show my ID. And then, you know, do an opening set. And that was like really just like my foundation, how I got in with kind of everybody at Rehab and Scratch Academy and then DJ City. I even did like a summer like fulfilling orders with them.
Damn.
And then that was kind of like the relationship. And, you know, fast forward, you know, DJ Danger Zone, shout out to Joe. We've been childhood friends forever.
Oh,
and
no shit.
Yeah, we've had like I've known him since I was probably like 13. And so we grew up playing sports. He was like the superstar athlete.
Yeah,
in
baseball
Park.
guy, right?
He looks-
Baseball.
yeah,
He played. He pitched at Dodger Stadium in high school.
Damn.
So he was like a
shit.
star.
Wait,
yeah.
which area did you guys grow up?
Arleta. Shout out to
so
Arleta.
Valley, yeah.
It's Arleta Hills, which is like Pacoima.
No idea
Hills.
where that is.
Okay.
Oh, Pacoima. I know
We make it
Pacoima.
sound
Arleta
very
Hills, like-
yeah, we make it sound very fancy,
Yeah.
but we share the zip code with Pacoima. So we grew up at this place called Brantford Park, and you know, doing house parties. He was a D1 athlete in New Mexico playing baseball.
shit.
He'd come back, and one of the hobbies he picked up was DJing. So he went to Scratch just to learn how to like literally scratch. I think he did a class with Revolution, and then he
Oh,
was like,
shit.
"Yo, this
Shit.
place is dope. You should go check it out."
Oh wow.
And I was into like, you know, like Rock the Bells, Immortal Technique, like just real
You're a backpacker.
the backpacking
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. A lot of Raucous records. And then so I checked it out, and I was in real estate at the time, just bored out my mind, and had made a couple sales, had commission, and I was like, you know what, like, let me go just try this out, get
Right.
my mind out. And I bought like 2 Gemini turntables, like a BS mixer, watched Cubert for like 1 DVD, and I
Yeah.
was like, why is the sound on this side going to this side? Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
this guy's got it weird.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let me just go try out a school. And so I went to the school and then went through their whole program to the point where like they were booking me for gigs. Bloomingdale's, I did Cosmo Girl Tour. I eventually did the Vans Warped Tour. Like they booked all of that for me.
That's
And
dope.
At Scratch.
At Scratch.
How long was
Yeah.
that program?
The program was, I believe, this is a long time ago now, fuck. It was like 6 weeks per course. And then you're allowed to, after you take that one course, you're allowed to do the next course. I know it's changed a lot since
Right,
then.
right.
Obviously technology has changed insanely. But like, I remember even having courses in there where like we would do vinyl sets and you'd have to like transition out of the next DJ in the dark. And then they would fuck with your equipment in the dark just to prepare you for anything.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like
And
real
so
life,
like like real
situations,
life
yeah.
examples. And that was like, you know, again, the I guess the comparison was, if you know how to drive a stick shift, you can drive any car. And so their point was, as long as you stick on vinyl, you can DJ on
Yeah.
anything. And so that was our foundation. Shout out to DJ Rel. Like Rel and I are
see
really
Rel
tight
at
yeah.
the coffee shop every once in a while.
Ugly Mug?
Ugly Mug.
Yeah.
He's always there outside, like having a meeting.
Yeah,
and shit.
shout out to Burbank. Yeah, he's probably meeting with my mental coach, who I've actually put onto a lot of people. I've introduced
Oh.
him to you. You keep did
Yeah.
you reply to him? No.
Well, I did. No. So I did, and he didn't reply, and then I think I didn't reply.
okay,
But yeah,
fair.
oh, that's him.
So that's him. Yeah, he works with like probably 15 of my friends now.
Oh shit.
But we'll
Wait,
get it. we can
explain
get into that.
what he does
Mental
again.
coach?
Matt, yeah. So it's a mental coach. So like, you know, you go to the gym, you work out your body. Somebody tells you what to do. So like with your brain, like there are things that you probably feel overwhelmed with, don't know how you're going to handle them, don't have an outside perspective that you feel may be judged by somebody. And so I think it was, although like my parents are my heroes, but like there's not everything that they're going to tell you is going to be kind of like an unbalanced opinion other
Yeah.
than they love
They're
you.
biased.
Of course. What
They want everything,
They're
yeah.
biased, right?
Yeah.
Same with my brother, love him to death, and he has great advice, but like sometimes you just need somebody that you could just like kind of speak
Tell you the
out
real.
to
Right.
so you could figure shit out, right? And you know, he has an extensive amount of experience in like law and in just like education, and he's probably one of the most interesting people I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
Just period. We actually had him on our podcast one time back when we used to do a pod, and you know, it's like his perspective and how he breaks things down has just been helpful, and I always give him credit. So I was
Really?
like, my life changed because of you, and
He's your Kevion.
yes, yeah. Well, I always,
You know Kevion, right?
yeah, for sure. Now Kev is fucking.
He came
genius.
to
Yeah, he came
HMC.
Did he?
He came to HMC one time, like
Yeah.
it was right kind of after he did the first podcast with Drama, and like I've known Kevion forever, LRG
yeah,
days.
Yeah.
So like I reached out to him like, bro, I just heard your podcast, incredible, whatever. And then I was like, can you come talk to our team?
Yeah.
And I remember being so excited, and no one in the room cared but me. And I was like kind of upset. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Nah,
these
nah,
guys.
we liked
no, like
Yeah.
Corey didn't give a fuck,
Yeah.
and James didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I was just
Couple
kind of like,
came, yeah.
bro, he gave us things to fill out.
Yeah.
A week later, I remember walking in, I was in the trash, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it, you know, some people aren't ready for that season, you know, like, and I think
that's
you
true.
can't be frustrated. Like, and that's one of the things, like, you know, I can't say specifically what had happened like a couple days ago, but like my brother's freaking out, and I'm like, whatever, like we'll figure it out. You know, we'll talk to Matt, we'll talk to our team. Everything is going to get figured out. And I think, you know, one of those things is like, I really just have always said it, but like I finally started to like master the idea of like, I'm just not going to worry about the shit I can't touch. Not just control, but like if it's not within my reach, why would I worry about it today? If I could touch it today, sure, I should do something about that.
So just teaching you like a different approach and like different perspective on just, I guess, daily life.
Yeah. And I think, cause I always like kind of tell them the comparison I'll give is like, if you watch Billions,
I know the show, but never seen it.
Seen it? Oh, never mind. This reference is going to go completely out the window, but they have basically a mental coach for performance. And so like in-house. And so like for me, he was always that person that would just get my mind right and my mindset right. So I wouldn't get so caught up in like, the way he explained it is I would wake up trying to figure out which fire to put out versus just putting out a fire. And there's like a difference, right? Like acknowledging versus action and organization and prioritization. And like even now, like, you know, working in some of the environments I'm working in, like I think about, you know, the first things to act on are highest impact, lowest energy, right? Because that's the way you could get it done. And then there's other levels, like score levels of things to get done, which is low priority, low impact. Well, that should just sit until it's time to like get to it, or it has higher impact in your life. And so same with like business, right? Like if it's not something that's going to change the way the brand or the company operates, and maybe it's not as important and it's too much work, then maybe it's not something to pursue versus the other things, which are higher impact, medium energy.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so when you break that down at that level, then you can think of like, oh, you know, if at a DJ, you know, level, like, I don't know, like I always looked at tone play like hard as fuck. And I thought to myself, like, man, that'd be dope if I could do it in a set. But like, what's the impact of my success, or what's the impact of impressing somebody, or what's the impact of getting rebooked? Like, I may not want to exert that energy into that one thing versus really understanding the crowd. Like that might be higher impact.
Oh yeah.
You know, so like, that's how I'd probably like.
That's dope.
connect with them.
Okay.
And you just meet with them how often?
I would meet.
I need it. All right.
Non-negotiable once a week, like for me.
Wow,
Okay.
Okay.
Like
In
I'll tell you,
person or on
we
the
have a
phone?
mutual friend that
in person or on the phone?
well, he'll do whatever. Like,
Okay. But you do.
I've had friends that like we went to her wedding. I didn't know this. I didn't know that they were working together. Number one. Number two, ran into each other, and then three, that was the first time they ever met in person. They had always worked via like Google Meet, Zoom, or whatever. But we have a mutual friend amongst all of us that when I first introduced him, and he only works by referral, so it's not like he just takes everybody.
Right.
But I referred him, and his first question was like, how much does he charge? Like, is it per hour?
That's kind of one of
Like,
my questions.
how will he help my business? Like, and it was all business, and it was like he was the one looking at the clock, not my guy, right? Because that's not how he operates. And you know, the first session is usually just on the house, like all good. Let's see if we even
Get to
work
know,
together.
yeah. If we
You know
even
what I mean?
click,
Yeah.
connect.
Do we even work together? Can we work together? Can I even help you? You know, maybe you're too fucked up, but like, but like the reality is like, you know, he went into it in that manner. And then when he opened it up, our mutual friend hit me up, invited me out to lunch and said, dude, like, I just wanted to like talk to you because introducing me to him literally saved my life.
Wow.
Like I was considering the
No
other
way.
level of
shit.
like decision making, and you know, like working with him has not only changed me as a business person, but like as a human being.
So he's almost like a therapist, and
Yeah.
not technically.
Yeah,
But
I would just say there's like additional dynamics that are helpful, that are adjacent to business, alongside like honestly, we just all kind of need somebody to fucking talk to.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a therapist.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people should. Like
100%.
I was late on it. Like I always like heard people do it, and like I was kind of like iffy, but now it's just like, dang, like it's kind of cool. Like they know what they go to school for this. They understand people's brain, and they understand, and they're not like judgmental, and they're not.
For
they're
sure.
like listening, but they're good. They're good with words.
Live or online?
It's Zoom.
Zoom. Yeah.
I want to do it in person, but
Yeah, I've been looking into it too. So
a friend of mine introduced years ago told me about her therapist, and then I remember going, and then it was like fucking too weird for me.
really,
Yeah, she was like,
Yeah.
it was different. It was like not a therapist. It was more like it was like super like spiritual and like
here, take this.
Yeah.
Little
no, it
sound
wasn't
bath.
even that. It wasn't like
little microdose.
no, it wasn't any of that. It was more like, dude, fuck. It was more like she tried to blame my energy being off because like she was like, oh, do you eat healthy? I was like, yeah, I eat healthy, whatever. Green juices every day. And she was like, oh, is it all organic? I was like, oh, I mean, I think. And she was, what's the name of your juice spot? And I was like, she told her the name, and she called the people.
The juice spot?
What's the name of the juice you get?
Yo.
No way.
And then told them the juice is every ingredient in this juice organic. And she goes, oh, maybe everything but like the spinach or something. She goes, oh,
The
That's
spinach
what's
is
wrong with
fucking
you.
with
Yeah,
you.
the spinach is fucking you up.
you're severely depressed because your spinach is not organic. I said, I'm
that's
not.
crazy.
I talked
Yeah,
to my
no,
brother.
that's-
I said,
I
what's
would have
wrong?
laughed too.
I said, what's wrong with this fucking person, bro? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
No,
That
that's
was
crazy.
like, I was like, this is weird. I don't. That wasn't even a therapist. It was just some like healer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Different, bro. I was like,
different
nah, I'm good.
experience. Yeah, therapy's key. If you find the right people, the thing is finding the right people, you know, and like
Yeah.
building the right team to like
Right.
lean on when you do need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mentorships, like just anything, like when you're just surrounded by like, there's some people that just want to be around. I don't want to call it yes men, but like
Sure.
people that aren't gonna make them feel anything below than what they think they are in life,
Yeah.
and they don't want to hear anything wrong or bad, and like those are people that have a hard time going to like seek, you know, a mental coach or a therapist, and they're just like, nah, they're wrong, I'm right,
Yeah.
you know.
There is it.
I know I'm always wrong. I'm just trying to get better every day, and like it's my job to like seek the right information, you know.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if it was Kevion who did mention like a rule of thirds. Do you remember this? Or maybe I'm tripping.
A rule of
Does that sound
thirds.
familiar?
Rule of
Where it's
thirds.
like basically like spend 33% of the time with people that are like-minded like you and at kind of the same level, have same aspirations, so you could like help push each other. But then you want to spend another third with like people who were where you once were, because it reminds you of where you were before, and you can also be a mentor to them
Right.
to
Of
like
course.
kind of pass the torch, help them along the ride, and it gives you this sense of like, you know, add additional value for those sets of people.
Yeah.
And then the other third is who you want it to be. Like, who do you want to be, right? Like,
That's a very hard achievement to
Which part?
to I'm just saying, like, to
oh,
have
that, yeah,
all three of those in your life,
yeah,
like equal balance. It's
very
hard,
difficult,
bro. Like,
yeah.
because I even see, I watch documentaries, listen to podcasts. I'm like, people tell me like, oh, have you seen this movie? I'm like, no, it does nothing for me.
Yeah.
I don't care about
Fair.
fucking Transformers,
Yeah.
and I want to learn or laugh. Like if it's
Yeah.
something that's meaningless, comedy's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Or like like biopics, my favorite shit, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just a movie that
Yeah, yeah.
how something was built and became what it is. And again, there's nothing wrong with Transformers, the art, because those are like art, right? Like
It's expensive art.
it's like the
Yeah.
there's genius behind it. I'm not, of course, but it's not for me.
Right.
But it's always hard because you always hear people like, oh, like be around people that you want to be like,
Right.
or surround yourself with like successful people. You know, the Will Smith fucking, what is it? Surround yourself with the five. What's his famous thing? Like if you want to
Yeah, I
be
don't-
successful, you know what I'm talking about? It's
Somebody
a
will
very
Google it.
famous thing that Will Smith did,
Yes,
where
sir,
it's
Google.
like,
Yeah.
or you are a product of like the five closest people
Right.
around
Oh, right,
you,
right,
or
right,
whatever
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I've heard
yeah,
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. That
Right.
right. So then everyone's like, oh, I got to be around five fucking billionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you can't? The billionaires ain't letting you in.
Nope.
No.
Obviously, billionaires a bad example. But what I've learned from like podcasts and documentaries is like, you can have a mentor that doesn't even know you exist.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like, if you look up to someone, let's just call it, who's a good example?
Will
Pharrell.
Pharrell. That's a good example. Say you like, damn, I look up to Pharrell. Then you just have to study him.
Yeah.
And he could be your mentor if you put enough work to study
Yeah.
everything, how he came up, what he did right, what he did wrong, because everyone does shit wrong, right?
Right.
He even talks about that.
Yeah.
He talks
Yeah.
about all like everything his wrong era, you know,
Right.
when he hates that era of
Yeah.
him, when he was like, man, I was like braggadocious
Yeah.
and like
The way he
and
dresses,
the way I
music.
all about this and all about that, and he and my lyrics were not appropriate, and,
Right.
and the way I talked about women, like, anyway, if you really wanted to and you become obsessed with someone, like, and I'm not saying become obsessed with Pharrell, but like if you just like, yo, like this
Yeah.
is what I want to be in life, he could be your mentor without even talking to him.
Right.
Obviously, like that's just a way of avoiding the excuse
Right.
that people put in their head that like, oh, I don't have access to no one. I live in the hood. That's all I'm gonna be. Like, no,
Right.
you can do what you want to do, but you
Yeah.
just have to want it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, really, it's just going somewhere, like not necessarily out, but like, you know, like just being active, like
Dog,
being in different
that's like
rooms
the-
changes your life.
That's the one of the things I used to have. Shout out to Ian Fletcher too. I used to have just show up as my wallpaper
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like that became like my thing a few years ago, where it was like just show up. And then when that was and you know how if you really think about something all the time, like I'm big on like manifesting and all
Yeah.
that. I don't do it all the time, but like I've experienced it where
Yeah.
I do obsess with something and it comes to life. It's
Yeah.
hard to get to that point,
For sure.
but I've seen it happen. And I remember I was going through this whole just show up shit. And I remember I was on Power at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like going through like depression just because like this is like in the busiest time of my DJ career. I'm
Right.
traveling so
Vegas.
much. I got the studio in downtown, there every day, and then I'm also on the air every day.
Yeah.
Right? I had time for nothing.
Yeah.
I remember being like, man, I need to get the fuck out of here. I'm like missing
Yeah.
out on dinners. I'm missing out on events. There's
Yeah.
so much things I was getting invited to. I couldn't go.
Right.
I remember leaving, bro. Again, mutual friend. I remember probably 2 weeks after I quit radio, he invited me to this 5-4 event. It was D Murthy. I remember. And he was like, yo, come to this thing. And I was like, yeah. And I was in the studio all day. I was driving home and I was like already thinking of because I always make excuses as
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
as
yeah.
a
Yeah.
As you know.
As we know.
I was already thinking of the excuse of like why I'm not gonna go
Right.
or why I didn't go. Hit him
Yeah.
the next day like, yo, my bad, fell asleep, whatever
Yeah, yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember almost going home, and I said nah, and I fucking
You went. Yeah.
veered off, and I went to the Mondrian, wherever this shit is, and I remember going there, and I was sitting there, and I was having a drink, and I ran into all our friends, Omar, Drama, everyone's there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I was talking to Anand.
Yeah.
And one of my things was like, I want to like get better at business stuff. And he's one of the smartest friends we have.
Yeah.
And he was talking to someone about investing. He's like a big investor or
Yeah.
whatever. And then he was actually talking to our friend Demok. And then Demok leaves. And then I was like, what? I said, what's the next investment opportunity, bro? Put me on. He goes, oh, I just closed last week. I'm not going to put all his business out there, but
Sure.
you know, he's publicly an investor, right? He like, I just closed last week. I was like, man, put me on the next. He goes, let me see if it's not too late for this investment.
Yeah.
He put me on text with the guy. I got this friend. I think he'd be good for this round, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward like a week later, I'm on the phone with this guy, get into this investment opportunity.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like just show up. All that, if I would have
Just
went
by being
home,
there.
I
Yeah.
would have been
Right.
in this in this investment.
Right.
This was maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I wish I would have went home. I lost some money. Looking at it today,
That was a good setup.
I should have took my ass home, bro. I lost some money in that investment.
I should've went to
But
bed.
at that time, I was glad I showed up
Yeah.
because
For sure.
because this is something I wanted to get into, and if I wouldn't have went, that wouldn't have happened, right? It's a famous quote again. I might be Woody Allen's weird ass, but 80% of success is showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's around the same time when you were doing the Young and Reckless YouTube thing too. The
Yeah.
And
yep.
you were
the
on
Music
that-
Mondays.
just show up, and you remember you hit me. It's like, yo, you want to go to this thing with me? I was going back and forth, Vegas and LA. I'm like, yo, I'm down. Let's fucking go.
At the Fantasy Factory.
Fantasy Factory. We show up. Don't know who I was gonna meet. I don't know what I was getting myself into, and we ended up meeting.
Well, this is the thing. I didn't know who we were gonna meet either because our friend Kev D, he was like, "Hey, we have Kid Inc., which was like getting some traction at the time." He
Right.
goes Vernon Davis, which was from the 49ers at the time,
Yeah.
and he goes, and this producer kid, he signed to Kanye.
Kanye.
He goes by Travis Scott. I was like, all right, get me like notes on him because I don't
Yeah.
fucking know
Yeah.
shit about him.
Yeah.
So the whole interview, we're sitting there drinking Jameson. We're wasted,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
wrecked.
So we're like, I'm interviewing this producer,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like, oh, I rap too. And I'm like, you rap too. You know how many times I
Sure.
heard that as like a radio guy?
Right.
Bro. Anyway, hit it off with Travis.
Yeah.
Love 5.
Yeah.
All became best buds.
Became best buds. And then
That's funny.
but he doesn't fuck with us anymore, but but no, he does, but we just don't see him.
But just for showing up, we still dubbed that day best day ever. Shout out to Kev.
yeah, because it took a wild turn, but it took a wild turn.
Yeah.
But we became really good. We became really close with Travis
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
time. But like we were going to his studio all the time, like etc. But Chase B, you know,
Yeah.
Chase B, we met Chase B like
Later. Yeah.
5 years later
Oh wow.
or something crazy. And then when we met Chase, he was like, "Man, Trav always was like, yo, you need to fuck with these guys. You need to be like them."
Yeah.
He would
That's
use us as
crazy.
a
A
reference to
reference.
like,
Yeah.
yo, Chase, you need to be like these guys.
Yeah.
So then finally, I remember at One Oak the
Yeah.
first time I met, because Travis was there,
Yeah.
and he was like, and then he brought in Chase, and then he introduced me to him, and I was like his DJ and shit, and
Yeah.
then
Now we
Yeah.
want to be like Chase.
and now Chase B doesn't
Yeah.
fuck with us. No.
What
Nah,
up,
just
Chase?
kidding.
Running the world.
Yeah.
All 'cause
Yeah,
you showed up.
Anyway, I guess the moral is like, yes, it is hard. Back to the thing, the 3. That's a perfect life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Having
Ideally.
perfect world.
Ideally.
It's not as easy. It's not as easy as it's just said, but I mean, I'm fortunate enough that like, you know, I have a store, so like I staff a lot of people who are younger than me, and so like I'm able to like when I can like stop and just like talk to them and
Yeah.
like think about like where they're at, where their mindset's at, like how can I help them?
Yeah.
Like, you know, our goal is always like I'm always talking to my team and the younger staff on just like, look, whole life's ahead of you, and you know whether we are where you want to grow or we're a pit stop or you know we're either a blemish or an asset to your resume, like you know just let us know where it is you want to go. The sooner you know that, then the better we can help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I've also had people who like apply to my friends' stores or businesses or whatever, and then they don't tell me, and it looks like they're like sneaking out the back, versus like, yo, like I could have put in a good work
While
for you.
they're working with you.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
shit.
There they
But
are.
but that's just like young thing,
Yeah.
you know,
They
like
don't know.
and that's part of it. Like and you learn. And I again like I bring it up to like put the picture of like the lesson of like I'm not here to like hold you down. Like if you think that there are other opportunities for you, I want to help you. As a matter of fact, I would have lifted you to get that if that's what you really wanted. But like if you don't communicate, because half the time, right, like shit doesn't happen just because you don't communicate.
Right.
And like it's some of the easiest shit in life.
More than
but,
half the
like,
time, probably.
I'm being nice.
Closed mouths
Yeah.
don't get fed, right?
Yeah.
It's like
There's that level too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and it's
communication is
Yeah.
100% key.
It's key.
yeah. I mean, I could go down that because it's like shit in LA is not great, right?
What?
And like
Or probably anywhere right now.
anywhere,
bro, to be
yeah.
honest.
But like like when you have a city where inflation is just like insane,
crime.
cost of everything is insane. It's not safe. Like there's all these different components, right?
It's a lot.
And then meanwhile, like you're trying to also help your family, right? Like people who are like literally overlooking your business, and you're trying to find how am I going to even make that work if I'm not going to like bleed out and have to close the
Yeah.
business, right? Like I have to think of like the risk and the reward between, all right, I can make you happy temporarily, but long term, like this might not be a job for not just you, but for anybody, right? If you think about the numbers. And so trying to find that balance while also like helping them reach whatever they're looking to do is like
It's not easy.
one of the fun
It's tough.
challenges. And yeah.
Actually,
it's
let's
tough.
go back. So
Sure. Yeah.
when you were
This all started from like running into Rail at a coffee shop.
yeah, I was like, okay, where did we veer off?
We took off.
yeah. I was
fine.
like,
Yeah.
So then we stopped at where you're finishing Scratch Academy, starting to do gigs.
Yeah.
Because we didn't even start like how you started
So
the whole.
yeah, so Mickey D's really was just like shout out to Phenom. He's a visionary. Like
Yeah.
the dude, just like Salvadorian immigrant. I might be wrong, but like no, he's Salvadorian immigrant. But like he's a hustler, and then that's where we kind of clicked it off. He was just like practicing at Scratch, and we were like, "Oh, you Salvi? I'm Salvi." And then we like he's
Salvi
like, "Oh,
connection.
like
He
let me
worked
put you
at
on."
rehab, right?
So he was at rehab, but he was helping on the DJ City side.
In the back.
But I think that first really started because he helped Koki with Footlong Record Pull.
oh shit.
So
what?
Wait,
drop
Koki
something right
had.
there.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah, I don't know if
I
I'm putting his
remember.
business out there, but like, yeah, so he had this other record pull that kind of felt like he was getting like the sub of like whatever the hot records were floating around.
Right.
But like, as a young DJ, you're like, oh, I could drop this much monthly, get these many records. I ain't got to worry about it. Like, I'm down.
Oh,
And
it was
so-
a vinyl record.
vinyl record.
Got
pull.
it. Got
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
And so like he was doing that, and I know Phenom was helping with that. That's what we were talking, and then just on like the Salvi thing, like as he like worked through the ranks of DJ City, and then they moved out of rehab. I helped with the move. I still remember that, and I think further down the road of the conversation, as like I was starting to make a name for myself, like with like mashups and stuff like that. He really, anytime Danger Zone and I were in the room, Phenom was just like, I really enjoy your guys' like just like shit talking and just like having a good time. And they were trying to figure out how to expand DJ City's brand from just being like this, like, again, high quality like record pool at the time. And so they were like, I was like, well, let's throw out this idea of maybe like we do like a show. And at the time, it was like just we want to invite our favorite DJs to come DJ, and we'll just ask them some questions in between, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Our very first DJ stream was on Winamp. There was no camera. There was no camera. They gave us a budget to build the room, which that was a terrible idea because they were like, should we hire somebody or can you guys do it? I'm thinking, I got enough Latino genes in my body to like figure this out.
yeah.
Bro, it took us months to build this one stupid fucking room with a hot ass window.
Wow.
And the first DJ we ever had was Baby You.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Do you
Before-
still remember what year this was?
This was 2013.
Oh, damn.
And he was like our
Wow.
first
Wow.
like official DJ. The like
was he with
unofficial,
Jeezy at the time?
huh?
Was he with
Probably,
Young Jeezy
actually.
Maybe, yeah. Because I
around that time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
because before him, when we were doing like literally a sound test, it was our boy Devin from the UK. Shout out to DJ Play. They were like in town
yeah.
together. Play
I
wasn't
know
yet
Play,
involved. Yeah.
Devin, I don't know if I know Devin.
He went on to, he was DJing in London, and then I think he went on to be in Dubai. Now he runs like a bunch of clubs out there,
Huh.
but doing like music, directing or something like that. And then, but our first like official promoted guest was Fashion.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think that was, I might be wrong here, but like I want to say it was like November 13th, 2013.
Nice.
And it was kind of fresh off AM's passing. So like we didn't ask anything related to that because obviously it was sensitive. And he just kind of went in there like we didn't know what it was gonna be, you know, like we were like, I don't know what this is gonna turn out to, but like we made a flyer, it looked official. We had the Ustream embedded into the site, and then we just like launched it, and the chat was like the thing, you know, and Aoki was in the chat that day.
Wow.
And like our first stream, even back then in 2013, I think we had like hit like 100 and something unique viewers with like whatever thousands of whatever like cycling. And so it was like, you know, like just learning on the go, and we were like, we just did that for 32 shows.
That's
30?
crazy.
32 like
30.
before
Wow.
stopping. And then because we were like, wait a minute, like we should probably fucking take a break here, like break this up into seasons. And
Did you do
know,
it weekly or what was it?
we were doing weekly at the
Oh,
time.
shit,
Yeah.
oh, shit.
And so it was like a little too crazy. And I mean, at the time, like we were still like, you know, hustling, trying to figure out our way.
What was
into
the
club
formula? How long? Like DJ for 30 minutes or an hour? Or
So
what?
like I myself or Danger Zone would do a 30-minute set, and then
to open the
to
show.
open up the show, and then the guest DJ would go on, and then they would we would stop in the middle, which was like when I reflect on it, I'm like, that was dumb, but like because like, you know, people listen to this shit,
Yeah.
and so you stop, and then we were asking some really dumb questions because we weren't like educated like radio hosts, so like we were figuring it out as we go. And also like the camera setup in the room was terrible, and like you know, it's like the first couple Logitechs that were really capturing live streaming.
It's a different time back then.
Different
bro.
time, you know, like it's still like crazy to me. And so I think
Flip
it was literally
cams and
us
shit.
and like De La Soul were streaming. That was it.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Oh,
On
wow.
Ustream. Yeah, like De La Soul actually had like a live
Really?
stream show
No
back
shit.
then.
Like Maceo DJing? and
Like
shit, or
just
what?
like in a room chilling, going over records, like whatever,
Wow.
like vibing. And
kind of
so,
like what, like Be Real TV, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because you've been doing it
exactly.
for a long time.
Yeah.
You know
I
who's on
remember
Ustream? Yeah.
I did a DJ set
yeah.
on Be Real TV through Profit,
Yeah. Oh,
my
shit.
friend
Is that
DJ
when it was
Profit.
at Backside?
No, this
Okay.
was.
Different time.
Did they do something at? Is that where it was? It was in downtown at some.
Oh
like,
no,
warehouse.
you know what? No, that was Soul Assassins Radio.
I did something at Backside with Mr. Chalk.
Soul Assassins, probably.
It was Soul Assassins
Nice.
Yeah.
Radio, and
Yeah.
I did a set with Mr. Chalk,
Yeah.
and I think it was me and who was someone else. Someone else DJ'd right after me. Fuck, who was it? Someone really dope, and I was like, God damn it.
Franzen was big on Ustream at the time too.
Yeah.
Franzen,
I remember
oh,
that
yeah.
too, yeah.
He's been streaming.
Yeah, been streaming. Yeah, so like we did 30 something shows, took a pause, like we learned a lot from there, and we at that time we were kind of like, I wouldn't say we were like just getting anybody, like we obviously were very selective even then, but I think like when we stopped and took a break and then like started spacing it out like once a month, then it started to like, you know, we started digging into like Jazzy Jeff, Qbert, Richard Vision, or
Yeah.
you know,
Jazzy Jeff did it.
yeah,
Damn,
that was like insane.
he's so.
And then
good.
A Track obviously was like also like one of those shows where it was just like insane. I think it was Jay Espinoza fresh off like the 3 Style. Or
I remember
maybe
that one actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Four Color Zach kind of like as like he had just won, and so like we just like kind of went after it, and it was when Z Trip did it was fucking crazy
Damn.
That
too.
one too. Yeah.
Yeah, so like we had a bunch of like really like standout shows. Like
No wonder I never got the call.
yeah, you were in season 1, bro.
Where do those past shows live at now? It's still on Ustream.
I think it's still on djcity.com/MakeItDs.
Okay.
Maybe I'll double check that, but like I think you can Google them and they'll still kind of pop up. People like archive them. They like still listen to them. I get tagged here and there sometimes on them.
That's
and it's
dope.
like
That's dope.
kind of crazy, like to think that show like did what it did. And I personally think we kind of fumbled not getting onto Twitch because it was like a literally like direct connection to it.
100%.
But you know, I think we were all in kind of different like times of our lives. Rel, like towards the third season, joined and like was helping us out, and then we went with the podcast route for a minute and gave that a shot. And I think
and podcast was not sets. It was
no, it's just like
this.
conversations
Yeah.
and using our
Yeah, it was you
experience
three,
to figure it out.
yeah.
Yeah. So we gave that a shot for pretty much as long as we could to like figure it out. And I think, they made some updates to the company, and unfortunately, like, didn't really fit into like their priorities alongside like ours, at the same time. So like, we just mutually decided to like just kind of like close the chapter and move on.
Yeah, but also you got rich.
Let's get to the meat.
But you were still DJing like clubs and stuff.
So it's funny. So I DJ'd, I would say for real, like 06 to like probably 2012.
Yeah.
I would say like for real. I think 2012 I was managing Infusion Lounge.
I think that's around the time we met. I was gonna say the Infusion at the Universal.
Yeah, I
City
think
Walk.
that's when we got like. I mean, yeah. Once you start cutting some checks for people, they get closer to you.
Oh yeah.
So like, now you're their friend.
Yep.
Well,
But,
we met because my brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We met through my brother.
Yes.
Oh.
But beyond that, like, because like similar to like everybody else that I think was a up and coming DJ during those like 2010 eras, like, we would watch all the like Deckstar, all the scam, and all the things that were being done, and that was like dream like kind of setup, right? And then shout out to E-Rock, like he really was like at that time gave me kind of a shot like as quote unquote like a non-managed DJ to like, I think I played Infusion SF and turned a couple heads, the right heads, and that's when he came down and did LA. He kind of used me as like I guess like the local like staple to like help open, like run some things while he's not around. Eventually it was just too much for him to manage, and I think Infusion Lounge at the time just wasn't doing the same kind of numbers as SF at the time. So when he shifted out, he basically like spoon fed me like the music director position there.
Wow.
And then I went on, as like a local Valley kid. At the time I was living in North Hollywood, so it was like a 7-minute drive or something like that.
Right there.
I was
bro.
right there at any given time, right? And so then at that point it was like, oh, you guys are giving me this book of like money and I can book all my friends and favorite DJs, like done. And so like I did that for a while.
It's pretty nice having that like power.
It's fun. I can
get you in
definitely
there.
say no. I mean, look, everybody's gonna tell you they never traded gigs or some shit.
Oh, everybody
that's
does it.
Everybody was swapping shit, right? And like sometimes
We know Nick Ferrer's hustle.
but like, sometimes I made a good decision. Sometimes I made a poor decision, for the sake of like wanting to get into new doors and whatever. And I think, I hold my head high. I felt like I was a high quality DJ for like the responsibilities I had. And like, I never questioned if I had to go play somewhere and would I uphold like that level without it looking funny.
Right.
And then, towards the end, you're like, oh, I could get this bag. Like I had to bring this kid in. And I'm like, fuck, like I might have to kick this guy off. Like, shit's not going to work. But it was a fun era. And that was like really where, I kind of like, I don't know, got to meet a lot of people, network, get into that side of the world and
the business side.
The business side, and and then of course like build this like client base of like bottle service and things that matter to at the bigger level of like getting into the bigger rooms. And so I think like my peak career was in 2012. I got booked at Hayes to headline, and then I had
Hayes.
Hayes take back there, and then
Which is now Jewel. That's
which is
space.
now Jewel, at the Aria. And then shortly thereafter, like I had a really good relationship with basically like most Hollywood clubs. And I don't know if I've ever publicly said this, but I had a very toxic relationship with a go-go dancer.
Oh,
And like I've never talked about it, but I think it's healthy to discuss it because I think at some level DJs get exposed to relationships that aren't like necessarily the best for you, and you're kind of caught into the like comfort level, but then also there's like these like insecurities that nobody talks about publicly. And I remember when I really knew like this was like I can't do this anymore was literally I've never. It's funny that you're saying about show up. Like the one time I didn't show up, and it was like a friend's birthday. I was booked to DJ at Playhouse, and I legit did not go
because you were fighting.
I was fighting, and there was somebody at Playhouse that this person didn't want me to be next to or on stage with or whatever.
Oh, shit.
That there was nothing there, but you know, the toxicity of it and the trust and the things that, like, you know, as a younger person, you just don't realize like the larger effects, right? And obviously I've grown from that. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us.
Oh no.
But she was a great soul. Like, we reconciled like after the fact.
This is all coming
it's all
back
connecting.
To me.
Yeah. So like, but we reconciled after the fact, which is the most important thing. But like, you know, sometimes you just have to like recognize what's like best for everyone is not necessarily like trying to figure it out, you know? But that was like when I stopped. And then when I stopped, I literally cold turkey. Like, had I done it how I wanted to do it, I would have slowly stopped doing gigs, because I was like literally in every door I wanted to get into. And then I literally paused for 4.5 years. I didn't DJ.
Oh, shit.
And I went to start a small store in Granada Hills with my little brother, off of his clothing line.
I remember that.
Called
I remember
War.
that too.
Yeah. So we
Oh,
got that
shit.
small store, and I didn't know shit about retail. Just like went in there, like pen and
I
pad,
remember
marking every
this.
sale on pen and paper. We started with clothes, eventually launched a sneaker consignment program. That went on to grow pretty quick. Unfortunately, dealt with really bad partners. Had to close that after.
What year was that?
This was end of 2013 is when we opened, and then we closed.
You guys were early on that.
So this was like Riff Flight Club
Holy Grail.
only, maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Gray
And Holy
one.
Grail.
Gray one.
Where was Holy
Pasadena?
Grail again?
I don't think they
that
were
was in
resale.
Great One was like just a
Downtown
boutique
LA.
though.
They were in downtown across from Crypto.
I don't remember that one.
Really?
I was just like, I
But
just
definitely Riff,
Riff and Flight
Flight
Club.
Club.
and Flight
yeah.
Club, yeah.
And so they were like really the only players in the
Yeah,
game.
for sure.
And we did that, and I can say I'm almost pretty confident about this. I'm 99% sure that we were the first like company to post shit for sale on Instagram, like when it first launched. Like Instagram was just used as photos, and we were like adding details and things of that nature. Shortly thereafter, I heard about this little store in Virginia called Round 2, and then they started posting stuff for sale, and then that just became like resale. And then bad partnership, we ended up closing June 2014. No,
That's the one in the Valley.
May 2014. That was the one in Granada Hills in the Valley. And then my good friend Eric Flores.
At that time, what was like the hottest resellers? The Jordans?
Jays.
Jays,
Like Olympic Sixes, Bread Fours, Band Ones were like the thing, the 2011 pair.
2001 Jordan,
2001
like the
Jordan
Breds or the
94s.
Royals.
Yeah, all that
Holy
stuff was
shit.
like, that was like that era. Some LeBrons.
Supreme
during that
Dunks,
time.
stuff like that.
stuff.
Blazers.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good
That
time.
era.
That was
and
a great
then,
era.
Great era. It was a good time. And then like vintage, like not vintage, but like old Supreme, right? Like was hot.
Oh yeah.
And then as we shut down, I had just met with Eric Flores of Accomplice and Backside. And so like he was like, hey, I just want to give you a heads up. We want to do shoes like how you do shoes.
So Backside's a record store in Burbank, downtown Burbank.
Yeah, staple.
Yeah.
Bro, I used to go there, buy records all
Me
the
too.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were there for, at the time, I think 20 years or 10 years. I forget how long they were there, but they you know, OG spot,
OG
mixtapes,
spot,
vinyl. They had the dungeon with the vinyl, and at the time they had this like vape second floor, and they were trying to figure out how to like bring in sneaker energy because they didn't want to carry shoe accounts. And so Eric literally had a meeting with me to tell me that like, oh, we're gonna kind of copy your idea. Do you have any recommendations? And I was like, I just gave him like kind of like what I would do, you know, if I was in Burbank. And then we had an unfortunate situation where it forced us to close at the time. You know, my brother and I were running that business, and you know, business gets tough. Sometimes family and business aren't the best mix. And since then, we've become legit best friends. I think had we kept that business, it would have been very hard for us to stay
Toxic,
best friends.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for the losses are like the biggest lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we moved on from there, I just pitched Eric on the idea of like doing a sneaker consignment program at a Backside, which became Backside Kicks.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
launched that June 2014, and we closed that down May 2015 because Backside was going through some hard times. Rent was getting raised, and as you can imagine, that place was like probably 20,000 square feet.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
So like rent.
And this is at a time where like records were not selling. Now,
Yeah.
records are hot again.
Records are hot again now.
Records are hot
Yeah.
again today.
Yeah.
But back then
Back
it was
then
at
it was
that
tough.
era where it's like
Yeah.
nobody wanted vinyl, let alone CDs
Yeah.
or cassettes. Like it was
Yeah.
just dead.
Yeah, so we opened Backside Kicks with literally 3 friends. It was one of Eric's friends that was like a 9.5 Air Max collector, so a shit ton of 9 and 9.5 Air Maxes. And then my boy, who was a Kobe collector, he was all sized 9.5 and 10. So it was like 50 pairs from him, 50 pairs from him.
Wow.
And then shout out to Adam Contreras from Pomona, well, formerly from Pomona, but like he was my manager at the time for DJing. He gave me 50 pairs of like Nike basketball size 11.
No way.
Wow.
And like that was like our first like
Inventory.
Big
Sorry,
like OG
Big Adam,
Adam.
yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
He does the shit with
Oh.
Angie.
Yes.
So you're not
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Yeah. Shout
Yeah,
out
so
to
he's
him.
still doing his thing. I was just talking to him. He gave me 50 pairs. We opened 150 pairs on consignment, 10% consignment. And then in 9 months, we generated about $650K in revenue.
Wow.
Grew from 150 pairs to 1,200 pairs.
Damn.
And then just like, did good business the entire way. And, tried to like develop a following through like, at the time, social media was a little easier to navigate with the algorithms and
Of
stuff like that.
course.
And so we built an audience, and then, while building our audience, our page became kind of bigger than the main Backside page. So then Ego started getting involved, and then Backside had to downsize, and we were growing. So I was like, well, what's the plan for us? Where do we fit in on your downsize? And they're like, honestly, like, we don't know. You're going to just have to like be smaller. And I'm like, I don't think smaller. Like, it's just
Yeah.
not how this is built. And so somebody, a gentleman came around one day, and he had handed me a metal business card. And he's like, if you ever need money, call me.
Damn.
And I won't forget somebody who spends $4 per business card.
Yeah.
So like, I'm
Metal
like,
business card.
Like
is
you
wild.
never met that guy before.
like, I never met the guy. He had done one online transaction with us after he like revealed who he was. But like, he walked in, his kids wearing fucking YSL like wax denim, like fucking Royal
hot.
2001 Royal Ones.
Yeah.
He pulls up in like a full on white velour like sweatsuit with like coked
So
out
Eminem.
white 9 anniversary, anniversary 9s, like just like this older white dude. And so he handed me the card, and I was like, oh, we're good, like I'll figure it out, I'm fine. And surely enough, like a couple weeks later, there's this deal that's like bigger than what we would normally buy with our own capital. And I was just like, what, like 10K is like a good amount to like test with somebody, see what the relationship's like. I'm like, what do you want? And he's like, just give me a third of the profit. I'm like, okay. He's like, but I collect all the principal first, and then you pay me out. You pay yourself last. I'm like, all right, cool, fuck it. So I go buy this collection, I test it out, we do the return, and I'm like reviewing this spreadsheet with his 15-year-old son. Like, how did we perform? And I thought you could have sold this for this. I thought you could have done this for that.
The
The
15-year-old.
15-year-old son.
Wow.
I'm like, great. I'm just like a fucking like substitute teacher here, trying to like.
Yeah.
But we got along, and I've always been kind and like figuring it out. So in reality, what this guy had done, he had done something similar with like 5 or 6 different stores to figure out where he wanted to park some money. And then when the conversation came up about moving, he was the one that sent me the, that Backside was up for lease and that they were going to go out of business. And he's like, what's your plan?
Oh, so you didn't even know?
I didn't know.
They didn't tell you.
They didn't tell me.
Damn.
He
shit.
told me. And then I'm like, what? and then, you know, figure out a meeting with the team, trying to figure out what's the next steps, what's going to happen. Eventually, like, Backside did reveal like they were just going to, you know, kind of shut it down. And then he pulled up like a day later in a limo, like, let's go look at properties.
A limo's wild.
Wild. Wild.
Shit.
But like he just had that on deck. It was
Yeah,
like
he was,
a
like,
Ford
courting you.
Explorer, like older limo. But like he just had it on deck with his driver. Like, and then he was just like, yo, here's a list of properties. This is what we're gonna go look at. And we were looking for like in Burbank, 1,500 square feet. We had already established our following in Burbank, so that we figured people would follow us. And you know, that San Fernando area is like so prime and still is.
Still is.
Especially with like the studios and everything else like that. And so like it made sense. And then so that's how we ended up kind of like looking down Magnolia. And there was all these like cool little like 1,200 or 1,500 square foot spots, but a lot of them were like owned by landlords who just don't give a fuck. Like they're just kind of like, we want what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ran into that corner spot that we're at now, which is 5,000 square feet. And we're like, yo, like how are we going to even afford this in the business model? And we worked out kind of an insane deal. Spent $250,000 building it out, and you know, I kind of got fucked in the contract where I saw, because there's two people representing the entity that was investing into the business, and then I was one person, one entity, and I thought, oh, like there's three of us, so it should be a third, right? And in reality, it's one entity. So if we're gonna go quote unquote equal energy, right? Even though they have a bigger team, like I'm literally living there. Like I lived there that first couple years, like breathed this brand, built this brand, and they had put up the capital, but there was like all these caveats that I like discovered later. I'm like, well, you know, that was my big, like, that was like me going to college because I ended up, I don't know if I've ever said this out loud, but like I only owned 5% of Mag Park. When I opened,
You told me this
I did
personally,
say,
yeah.
So like
I couldn't believe that. when
yeah,
you
so
said
like
it.
when we first owned Mag, I only owned 5%.
Holy shit.
I thought you
Wow.
owned 95% at the time, like
Right.
just
It
because,
felt like
you
it.
said, because you were the one there every day. This
Yeah.
was
Face,
literally your
basically,
brand.
Yeah,
Obviously, yeah, like people put
Yeah.
up their capitals a whole
which
different.
and not to say like, so like each year basically the way the contract was structured, which I understand, like the way it was structured was you get 5% every year because they didn't want me to leave, so they were just protecting me from not leaving and sticking around for 5 years. So then so I would gain 5% every year, and then there was that 8% gap to 33% for me to get mentally to equal share. But I didn't realize at the time that would also mean I could get voted out at any given time, right? Like based on their decision making.
Yeah.
And so, and then on the other side of it, we carried nothing but brands that they had investments in. So like when we bought product for the store, they were also making a profit on the product at purchase.
Like
Oh,
brands.
yes,
Wow.
Hall of Fame, Publish, Classic, all these streetwear brands, they owned a piece of.
What?
shit.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
The limo guy?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Damn.
So-
Do we know him? No.
So, huh?
We don't know him.
No, you don't know.
Hmm.
But like, you know, and like again, like maybe I'm just nice, but like to me, that was a huge lesson. That was just me understanding, okay, like if I position myself or you position yourself in a manner where like you create a business that needs your other business, you could actually feed each other if you do it the right way, assuming that you're successful at converting, right?
Mhm.
So like I take the lesson for what it is. The 70%, 25% though, like that was like really like fucking me.
Mhm.
But it was fine. 1 year late, like 1 year in, we were quite successful. I give Ben a lot of credit, Ben Baller. He came in,
Oh,
you know,
yeah. He
Ben's
would post you guys a lot.
over
yeah.
the top. He like,
I went to lunch at the kebab. What was it? Healthy Bites.
yeah.
Me, you, Ben. It might have been.
Yeah.
Was that your investor?
Yeah, I think it might have been.
It was three of us.
Yeah. So like they were really cool because I think Ben was trying to get him to like put some money into something else, but I think it was the brand that he was developing. And you know, Ben and I, like, you know, at the beginning it's like, and this has been probably in any room, but like it's all business until it's not, and then it becomes a little more personal. And it's, you know, we developed a friendship, and it wasn't so transactional as things evolved, right? And you know, he was going through some things. He was like a Riff loyalist, and shout out to Jeff. Like, I mean, they've built something that like we looked up to, right? And
Shout out to Ed too.
yeah, and Ed. I'm sorry. Yeah. So like they built something that just like is forever, in my opinion, you know, and in the space. And so like I think they were going through some things. So Ben saw the opportunity to kind of like show some love somewhere else, and you know,
And pissed them off.
yeah, and in turn really pissed
Yeah.
off his ex-girlfriend. But
He knows what he's doing, that guy.
yeah, he's strategic. He's funny.
Yeah, he's strategic.
He's like, oh my god, one of the funniest people. But yet,
He's
like,
the best, man.
bro, his organization is kind of different. Like, he kind of blew my mind. I was like, I didn't know you were this smart. Like, I was just like, I'm like, I thought you were just a dick. But
Yeah,
he's very smart.
He is a
Yeah.
dick.
No, he is a dick, and he knows it.
But that's part of that's
part of
his character.
his thing. Yeah. So, yeah, we developed a good friendship. A lot of people came through because of him, and then, you know, we made some strategic hires that built our name, and you know, that's when we went on, and I got a second investor join us in 2017. He was from Asia, and you know, that was another one of those where it's like not all money is good money, and you know, their team took over, and you know, I didn't have a control of anything. And
way.
you know, unfortunately, like there was a time in 2018 we got broken into like 4 times, and people only really knew about like one because we couldn't hide that one. It was just so over the top.
Yeah.
And I was probably 4 weeks away from like shutting it all down. And you know, I basically found a way to take over control, absorbed all of the problems that they had, and then, you know, kind of like week by week figured it out. And then we hit holiday, and then that bought us a little bit of room to like just like kind of draw things out. And you know, we've built it back up, and then by COVID I bought everybody out when we kind of hit a lightning with designing hats. And then that was like a thing for us.
Massive.
Yeah.
First thing you walk in, first thing Fives asks about is the hats.
Yeah, what's up with the hats?
Big fan over here.
Yeah. Well,
Wait, we skipped one important detail.
yes.
When you were opening Burbank,
Yeah.
what was going to be upstairs?
Oh my God.
There's something.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. So before we officially
Which you ended up doing later.
later. Yeah. So it's so funny because that's so funny. I forgot about that. So before we opened Mag, shout out to Nick Ferrer. Sorry, Nick. He
He's gonna love it.
Nick came to me with this concept to put a barbershop upstairs.
Yep.
And there was a barbershop down the street, and I don't know how or who talked or whatever, but like information leaked to the local barber or the guy that owned the barbershop, and then this dude turns out to be like some like fake thug and like starts doing threats and like
Bro,
would hate to see your
shit.
staff
I
get
feel
hurt.
like I feel like Nick lost sleep.
I
during that
think he
time.
did. I mean,
He was getting death threats.
but
Like,
you know what's crazy is my business partner, the limo guy, went. I still have a photo of him talking to the cops, but he went and threatened the guy at his barbershop
shit.
and said, "What are you going to do? What are you doing talking to these kids? They're kids.
wow.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You have so much balls. Come talk to me. I'm a
Wow.
man. Come talk to me here."
Oh,
And then like the
shit.
dude would come out, and then eventually somebody
Wow.
called the cops. You know, Burbank PD don't
Yeah,
play. That
yeah,
shit,
they're quick.
hard
They're
to-
right there. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then so they're explaining their part and whatever. And so like he stood up for Nick, but then I think Nick just like was like, he's just like at some point he's like, never mind. Like
Yeah, he was like he was pretty shook.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I would be too
I mean,
if I was young
to
Nick
be
and
fair,
like this.
yeah.
he's trying to make moves, and all of a sudden,
He was like the way he explained it. I guess like a biker looking dude or something.
Yeah.
Right. Like that
Yeah,
type
yeah,
of guy.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was
Yeah.
I just want to bring it
That
up.
is a very funny story that I don't think has ever been told. But yeah,
Never been told.
Never been told.
Yeah, I didn't think
You didn't know that?
So Nick was trying to open a barber
Nick
shop?
was like, "Oh, bro, I'm about to own
He
a
wanted to have
barber
his own
shop
business.
Oh,
inside of
wow.
Mag Park." I said, "Bro, you're not a barber.
Yeah.
What are you doing?" He just like, nah. But it was funny. He
And
was
like,
wow.
he was
Mac Park
hyped.
wasn't even a thing, right? Like I'll give you another one, right? So like Holy Grail started to kind of come up, right, as a brand, and they were like doing some really good business, and my investor was really good friends with them. You know, On the Arm
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, in
from
Vegas.
in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah,
Okay,
I spent
So-
a little bit of money in there before.
okay.
Me too.
So Mag Park upstairs was gonna be On the Arm.
Oh
wow.
shit!
That we were the first space they toured, and then downstairs was gonna be Holy Grail Valley.
wow.
And then
wow.
shout out to the.
so this is okay. So this
this is
is
before we opened.
this is before you had the
Like,
brand.
Yeah, it was just
It was like
construction.
we have a space.
Yeah, before we were Mag Park, we were Community Kicks with no I, because there's no I in community. Very corny. I'm glad we didn't do that.
That's good though.
It's kind of good though.
Yeah.
It's kind of good though. But I'm glad we didn't go with that. But yeah, they came, they toured the space, and literally, like verbatim, they were like, "The Valley's whack,"
Damn.
and I'm like, "Well, I'm a Valley kid, so like all good. Like I'm excited to show you guys what it can be." And then, surely enough, you know, we built the brand. It became what it was. Went through our struggles, our challenges. 2019 was good enough, and then honestly, COVID, you know, unfortunately, lots of negative things happened, but a lot of positive things happened for us, no pun intended. But like we had the ability to basically freeze, you know, our mall rent and overhead, and then like we hit lightning with our newer account. I started designing around the Travis one, just a hat. Turned out to be that there was no other brown Dodger hat design.
With the
And
pink.
so when we came out with the pink and then the red flag and like the little details, and like nobody like really designed a hat with that kind of intention. I think in the East Coast, shout out to Hat Club and the, you know, the guys on that side, they were like the beginning of it, I would say, for like this cultural shift where they created the pink bottom, but like nobody had like used the pink bottom intentionally at this time. This is like, I think July 2020,
Wow.
and the Dodgers were
It's prime COVID.
Yeah,
like,
prime.
Fucking.
the Dodgers.
Do
were-
I want to go?
Yeah,
Or can I find toilet paper?
Yeah.
Like that era.
like maybe like a
Sanitizer.
month after,
Okay.
when stock finally
okay, we
settled
got
down on the
toilet
toilet
paper. Okay, but could still die.
Yeah, but could still die.
Yeah.
And I remember the Dodgers like winning the World Series, and on the first pitch of the game that we felt like they were gonna win, we launched 3 colorways, and it's so funny. My guy Marco at Nira, like we designed this kind of like solo. We, again, like just thinking of ideas. I'm like, I don't know, brown's kind of crazy. Let's give it a shot. So I designed the first one. I love it. But like I'm like, man, an all brown hat is so risky. Like at the time, like it just wasn't there. And I was like, can we do an all black? Like, what would an all black look like? And let's use this patch. We'll change it up. Cool. I'm like, I'll add browns in the patch. I'll do the pink bottom. I'll still do the red flag. Da, da. I'm like, oh, black is safe, but it's kind of like plain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, let's two-tone it. And so we did the two-tone. And then, we put the patch together, added elements. And I'm like, damn, this shit's tough. I'm like, I don't know which one to put out. And I've never ordered more than 48 of a fitted hat because you never know sizes.
Right.
And then we ordered 144 of each, and I think 200 of the black. And I put the photo up, and it kind of went crazy. And
Is this
like,
the first 3-pack you sold?
yeah. And I posted
think I
that
bought
photo,
those.
and it went crazy. You did.
Mhm.
And I posted it, and we sold out of the brown and the brown black in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
And then the black sat overnight because we just had way more units, eventually selling out the next day. And then I remember people reselling that hat for like $250 to $350, like the two-tone. And then eventually like we got copied by another hat store because there was no like regulations around ordering somebody else's product.
Damn.
So I remember seeing this, and I was at somebody's bachelor party. I think it might have been Joe's. And I was like, man, these motherfuckers copied me. Like, and they're putting it up for $80. Like, and I think our retail was like 55. And I was like, fuck them. I'm like, just put up a pre-order, like open pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time, New Era would be able to fulfill a pre-order in 2 months. And then we had no allocation limits. And so I was like, fuck it, let's just open it up. And so we just threw it up on Shopify. Literally no plans of ordering or stock. Whatever happens, happens. And I put it up for $50, shipped. Like, we'll cover shipping. Just to like fuck with that other store. For
Same
taking,
colorway.
For taking our design, right?
Yeah.
It's a local store or from,
They have a couple different branches, but they're just known for copying. And
so lids.
No. little, very much smaller than lids.
Okay,
but
okay.
But we did that, and we sold like 25,000 units in 48
What?
hours.
25,000? Holy
25,000?
Yeah. I remember being at the
God.
I remember being at the bachelor party, like, oh, this party's gonna be different.
Insane.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Yeah, so like that changed our lives.
And that was a
obviously.
pre-order.
That was just a pre-order. So
Yeah.
so when we had to go pay for it, like obviously we had the bread up front, like just and then eventually I did like the Mango Lava collection, which hooked to the Union 4 collection, and then I started doing like very intentional like shoe like connections, and then like In-N-Out Shake Pack, and then just when I did the In-N-Out hat, like I did a whole like In-N-Out
I remember
bag
that one.
with like the pin, and like the pins were numbered, and like so like we were like one of the few. And shout out to Big Chris, Christian Alcaraz, who he's really was a big part of like our growth and like expanding our name in the hat world, because he was the first one to really come in and like basically buy all our shit. You bought the first real custom I made, which was the one with the city tower on the side, the gold city tower. That was like my first ever fitted.
Still have it, yeah.
And he was like, and I remember like, yo, why isn't there a Batterman? Well, I'm like, because in 1959 there was no Batterman, and so like I was always very intentional about it, but I didn't know how to tell the stories. And so like eventually I got in my bag of like just like, oh, I want to tell this fucking story. Like I want to ship you a bag. Like when we did Big Chris's, he did a bagel and lox collection. Like we fucking went out and like packaged them like bagels and like sent them out, or like
Wait, how do you package it like a bagel?
so like just like
Like
bagged
paper?
it up
Yeah.
and
Or
then
like the checkered bag?
yeah, like all that shit. We did the whole
Damn, I
like
love
thing.
bagels.
So we did that, and then the other shit was we did this Olympic pack. And so like the Olympic pack, we did it when was it in Beijing? Was that 2020?
No, that's Tokyo.
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 So when Tokyo, we stayed up till they fucking lit the damn torch to launch this thing. I remember it was like 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, bro, I want to fall asleep so bad. And we're all like on IG Live, ready to drop this shit. And we're thinking, man, we 250 sets, $250 I think was the price of the pack.
Yeah.
And people were like, you guys are fucking idiots. Or we sold out in 4 minutes at 4:30 in the morning.
No
Oh
shit.
my god.
And like, so like, it was just this thing where like, or it might have been 100 sets, but it's just like one of those things where like, yo, we just like reinvented ourselves.
What do you think? Like I remember you were like literally the hat guy. Like you're going live on Instagram Live and like ready to reveal the next one, and you're like, hold on, you know what I'm holding here? And I'm like, what do you think was the moment that made you that? And obviously it's like, I love that you that's hard to do. Like what I mean is like we're talking about, what's that app where you sell shit?
Whatnot.
The Whatnot, right? Like to go out there and like be on camera and put yourself out there, it's really hard, right?
Yeah.
And like even us, like when we were streaming and shit, like it's hard to do.
Yeah.
So like you going on there and like, all right, this is I'm fucking this hat guy.
Yeah.
What was that moment like that really, because you were doing shoes up until then, right?
Yeah, like we were known as like a shoe store.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, I think for us, it was one of those things where it's like everybody was doing YouTube, everybody was doing like this social content strategy. And for us, it, like, at least for me, like I could never like go too far out of bounds of who we are, like in a genuine level.
Yeah.
Like one of my good friends, Kais Omar, he would come to the store, and he started coming to the store when he had like, I think 100,000, 150,000 like subscribers on YouTube. Eventually, he got to like 1 million, like while visiting us.
Oh,
like,
Omar,
yeah,
he's
Kais
big,
Omar. So like he.
I just saw him at
Yeah, he, in Vegas,
at
actually.
Live.
Yeah.
I was DJing Live and he came
So
by.
incredibly close friend of mine. He literally grew up in front of us, and there was all types of shit that we did together. And I was kind of like a co, like a guest character.
Yeah, you're on his vlogs a lot.
in his
Yeah,
vlog.
yeah.
And so like I was just like a guest character of that. And I think just being around that, obviously Mickey D show, and then where I would say where I really felt like, oh shit, like I've done something special. I could say it was that first pack, because I've never seen people really react that way.
The Olympic
The-
one or the
brown?
$25,000
the brown
Travis,
collection,
yeah.
the
Okay,
25,000.
yeah.
Because that's like, we went on to release that shit again, and it still did
Still
fucking numbers.
Damn.
And
That's crazy.
which is insane. It's like the most sold SKU we've ever had in the history of the store.
Wow.
And but I did do this like, it's called a reverse pack. So like, instead of it being brown and black, it was black and brown.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dodger one that I made for that collection, which is the reverse pink mocha, what ended up happening with the patch I used, it had the Coliseum Olympic logo on the patch. And then New Era didn't get a approval. This is what I've heard. But New Era didn't get approval to use the Olympic logo on that patch, so it ended up getting banned. And so the allocation of that particular design got cut off
Damn.
right around the time that I had placed a pretty sizable order of it. And the reason that hat kind of like, it's crazy for me, is because it was the first hat that I've designed that sold for $1,000.
Wow.
Like
Resale?
single product resale.
Holy
Wow, 'cause
shit.
it was
Like at its
yeah.
peak.
Yeah.
That's
Like
crazy.
I watched somebody bid it up to $1,000
On eBay or StockX or
on
something?
there's just like somebody's IG. Like
Oh, wow.
he was like, he
Wow.
posted up, he did, you know, the question thing. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, highest bid, blah blah blah. And then I saw it go for $1,000.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And then fast forward, you know, like that's like one thing. But then while that was happening, I also did my first collection with PacSun, doing like this like suede hat collection.
Yeah.
And like nobody at that time had done suede yet. And we did that, and then that was like, I think like 10,000 units.
Damn.
And
Shit.
and then that sold out in like a weekend with them. And then that was like, you know, real like, oh shit, like we have something else here. And those hats got loaded to StockX alongside the reverse pink mocha.
And that was
there
exclusive to PacSun? It was like a
the
PacSun
suede one.
exclusive,
Yeah,
the
like I
suede
did a
one?
PacSun. That was my first
It
PacSun
had, did
exclusive.
they have any other name on it or no?
No.
No, I just
Okay.
like did a pin with their
With their thing.
with the PS Reserve logo.
Oh, yeah.
Which, backtrack a little bit, shout out to D. It's funny. Obviously Mag Park has a great reputation for authenticity, authentic goods. And then at some point, one of my good friends, he had a collaboration partnership with American Eagle in New York.
Yeah.
And in Vegas, and they tried to do like this business of doing resale within a
Yeah.
retail shop. Unfortunately, like wasn't the best example, wasn't the best blend, I think, of audiences,
No.
but it was an example of what could be, right?
Mhm.
And so I go to a panel that D's moderating, and
Just show up.
just show up. He literally was just like, yo, pull up. Like, I'm like, cool, I'm down. And
If D says pull up somewhere, you fucking go.
you
bro.
probably should go.
I know a lot of people listening don't know.
Not
who
that he
is,
needs
but
more
like,
people right now, but like,
he's that guy.
if he
man.
invites you, like, you should probably go.
you
Cause
should probably go.
yeah, and so the people that were on the panel were, the guy that started Network, Aaron Levant,
Mm-hmm.
Mimi, who's at BBC, and Alfred, who was PacSun and Fear of God,
Fear of God now.
formerly Fear of God.
He's not at
he
Fear of
left
God no more?
recently, yeah.
Okay.
And then I think Josh Luber from StockX, and then D was moderating, and then I'm there with D. I'm like, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm chilling. He's like, we're going to Delilah. I'm like, all right, cool. So we go to Delilah, and it's literally me, D, I think Javi, and Alfred, and D literally gets in front of Alfred and says, you guys should work together.
Wow.
You should get shoes from him, and he should do it. And it started very light, and then it turned into like, got connected, had a couple drinks one night, like at Soho House, went over what it looked like.
Good things happen over adult beverages.
Yeah.
Cocktail.
With
So
D.
no, it's so funny because it was just like, oh, like we'll just throw random ideas, and then it turned into like whole like business model, and then we literally laid down the framework. COVID happened, pauses everything, and then after COVID, we end up launching a partnership with PacSun called PS Reserve, which is like presented by, like powered by Mickey Guerra of the Mag Park, which that part is crazy because we have 4 stores right now.
I went to one of your openings at Glendale.
Yeah, Glendale.
And fucking this guy's name is on a
Like,
neon in a
Literal
PacSun.
name.
His real name.
So yeah, real name. And then that's Glendale, Santa Anita, Newport Beach, and Soho, New York.
Damn.
And
That's
so
amazing, bro.
we have 4 doors. And then basically my job is to source, curate, authenticate, and ticket all the product before it gets sent to
Yeah.
their distribution center and get out to the world. And what's crazy is like, that was one of those things where it's like just building trust. They were able to kind of give me the green light and a budget to start with. And what we thought was enough pairs for 2 months ended up like selling out in 2 hours.
Wow.
And then so when we first launched PS Reserve, and this was going on 3.5 years ago now. It's
Wow.
crazy. And we built this whole business like where like now you can go on PacSun and the same person shopping for an Essentials hoodie can pick up a pair of Dunks or Vomeros or Asics, or the kid wanting to pick up Hellstar can also buy a pair of whatever, some like basic piece to match
That's
it.
where I get the.
Oh, so they also do apparel.
Yeah.
Resell.
So that was part of like my last 2 years.
I was wondering because I was like, they sell apparel.
Yeah.
They sell sneakers too, but it's more like Vans.
And the hats.
Huh?
The hats.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
and
and then
the
the hats. Yeah, and then that's where like by like accident, right? Like I ended up being this hat guy. And so I found it as a new creative channel for me to do things that maybe I couldn't do with Mag. And then, Pac's buying ability is much larger. Like when I think about it, right? Like for me, like I probably don't want more than 100 to like 200 of one hat at one store. And that could still fulfill online too, right? With Pac, if they have 400 stores and they just put 10 hats in each store, which sounds like nothing.
Yeah.
You're talking about 4,000 hats
4,000
in one
hats.
SKU.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
So like when we did Holiday, I remember like, man, like we have to ticket every single fucking hat before it goes out. So like I've never seen 15,000 hats.
Damn.
Like, and to see that was kind of insane.
Yeah.
And something that we definitely got to learn from. But now being in that world, like it's been a super fun ride, like learning how corporate world works and how we work and how we can help each other out. And so that's been like one of the bigger blessings. Shout out to D.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Shout out
for
to
that
D.
for that intro. And
How did you balance, like when you started taking on this PacSun role or this, and even the hats, like how were you balancing? Because then you got the store in the mall, which is a very busy, beautiful mall,
Yeah.
high end, right? So like
Yeah.
how did you balance, or how did you not lose focus on your own company to help PacSun, for example?
So
Like how did you do the balance?
So it wasn't easy at first, I would say, but I think the biggest thing is like being able to understand like the value of like discipline. Like as it's so simple. It's kind of crazy. I always think about it like the difference between you and like a goal is probably you not taking the side street, or like you not trying to get a shortcut, or you like not getting distracted by a conversation that ends up being an hour-long catch-up with a homie versus like going to go fucking knock out this thing that you could have knocked out before the dinner instead of after the dinner. Like it's really just micro decisions, I think, that like, and habits that you develop. Like I'm clearly not the most disciplined person because I'm still fat, but like
But you can hoop
but
though.
I like to eat and I like to hoop. But you know, it's one of those things where like there are areas in my life where like just energy wise, I've found ways to like focus when I need to, and I think similar to like what I was talking about in the beginning, it's like what has the highest impact in what I'm doing, and what's connected to each other. Because what I've come to learn is, you know, there's a lot of the things in these companies. Only reason I'm doing it is because it's connected, you know, and it's all things that come back to the success of each other and lifting each other up. So like I get honestly asked to do a lot of different shit now because of the hat thing, and it's like if it doesn't like align with like being at my office or being at the store or being at, you know, now I'm at a startup called Ghost.
Yeah.
You were there before I was.
Yeah, I was, and then I was too early.
Yeah.
Should've- You got the better fucking
Dear.
yeah. I was too early, but yeah, no. I think when I was working with Ghost and D,
Yeah.
their business model was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a whole different business model. Now it's just like fuck. But anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and
I should show up to get my job back.
we miss
Just
you.
pull up.
I know.
Everybody talks about you.
I know.
Did you have an
every
office
now
in
and
there?
then we bring them up.
Yeah, I was the life of the party, bro.
Bro, we got
I come in there.
110 people now.
No way.
They do?
Yeah.
Damn.
There was like what, 4 when you were there? Just
Probably like
you, D,
10?
Like 10.
Yeah, probably 10.
Probably like 10.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 10.
I got there when it was like 20 something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so now it's just this whole thing. And
That's crazy.
But
Well,
even-
obviously, because that's total because they have a New York office.
yeah.
So that's
No.
total? That's
Oh.
just here?
no, yeah.
Total.
Total. You're right.
140.
Total.
Okay, total.
Damn.
I was about to say, bro.
No, I mean, I know we're like at 3 levels of parking lots. So like,
Oh, shit.
but like bigger than ever. But they're doing a great job, and like that's another thing. Like I'm trying to remember how that even happened, but you know, through the PacSun thing, you know, I went from buying 20 pairs to 200 pairs of something to like 2,000 pairs of something,
Yeah.
and like almost accidentally like starting this like, you know, distribution type
Whole another
business
thing.
of like, yeah, whole other thing, right? And I started supplying like quote unquote my competitors, but like again, like everybody knows, like I work with damn near every store in the game. If they don't work with me, it's because they don't know me. Like, because I know what you need to do to make money, and like at a store level, right? Not only do I have the years of like running and operating my own business, but like beyond that, like I know your target margins, I know what's capable, I know the market, and like my goal is like, if I sell you some shit, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's funny because I always say like sneaker resale or like streetwear resale is literally like one length away from being a drug dealer.
Mhm.
Like, but like, because I always say like, you know, people are like, how do you get these prices? Well, it's like, well, how much do you think the
'Cause
dude
it's-
buying the brick is getting it for?
Yeah.
And how much do you think the guy getting it before that is getting it for, right?
Yeah.
And so depending on where you're at, and then to take that analogy further down to the consumer level, like if I sell you some shit and it's not good shit and you die, I can't make money with you anymore,
Mm.
right? So if I give you a bad deal and you can't sell it, well, I'm fucking myself, because that's no longer returning revenue.
Right.
The
Right.
best revenue is revenue that you can continue to generate, right? That's why a lot of the clubs book the same DJs, because they know it's successful.
Yeah, you could
right?
trust
Because
them.
you could trust them. They know it's less risk. They know the room. They know what you want.
That's what, like, it's like a legend. Like, I don't know if it was Graham or Stone Rock or both, but they were always like, our job, like, they put us in these rooms so the booker doesn't get a call in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this DJ
That's
you put in
grand,
here
yeah.
playing? Like,
Right.
it's just like, yo, like, they know they can sleep at night.
Yeah.
The room is in good hands.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I tell, like, even like at a customer level, like I always tell them, like, you have to become the customer's best friend, right?
Yeah.
And then at a store level, like, I need them to trust me and understand that I have their best interest. I'm not a salesman. I'm giving you an opportunity. Now, do you understand that or not? That's up to you to take that risk.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do and we're successful, I got more for you. You know, and like I have a couple clients who literally will tell me like, no, I don't want to try that. I'll be like, when have I done you wrong? I'm like, I'm giving you the best price, I promise you. All right, fuck it, I'll take it.
Wow.
And then guess what? They don't come back with no complaints.
He was right.
Yeah, I might be right? And like I literally ask them all the time, like, do you trust me? This is something I think you should take the risk on. And so, like, you know, for context, I'm the director of streetwear at Ghost. I went in there, literally made up my title, like basically just jumped in, worked my ass off, and you know, now I have a team of 7 under me.
No way.
And building.
Nice.
And so we become a sizable part of the business because, you know, we just like go in there. We know our team. My biggest suppliers and buyers actually became a partner of mine in the business with them.
Wow.
So it's been a journey, but that's why, you know, part of the reason also why I'm at Ghost all the time is number one, I have conviction in the future for them. I think what we're building is crazy, like huge wait list just to get on the website. But
Really?
yeah, just to be like logging
in
in
their network.
Yeah, in the network and be part of
Shit.
like what we're doing. But beyond like even that level, like, you know, hanging around with D, like, bro, I'm in rooms that like I never thought I'd be across from, you know, and like we're just shooting the shit, trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. And
He knows everybody.
He's
all the
well
right
connected,
people.
man.
Man. That guy's
He
connected.
could have been the mayor if he stuck it out with
For
the
real.
politics.
Yeah, he was I think he was like a
For
Council
Santa Monica, right?
he was like a mayor for like 2 streets in West Hollywood. Just this one little corner, like
Where his
I'm the
run club
mayor of
was,
this
you know,
corner.
like-
Like for real, I think, right? Or
yeah,
like,
no, for real. Like
yeah,
he signed up
It's
for
not
it.
a
He's like, you
joke.
know what? Never mind.
Yeah, he was like not mayor, but like
Yeah.
like consul, oh,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But I love D. I've learned so much from him. Like we definitely like
Yeah.
we found a way to like really help each other out. And
Now,
it's been fun.
so 2 things. If you would have kept DJing,
yeah,
do you think you would have been able to start this other business and make it what it is today? That's one question. The other one is, if you were still DJing just as a DJ, how would your life look too?
such a good question, because after I did take that break, I did come back for like a hot second. It was of course after I got out of the relationship, and like kind of like mentally like was like, you know what, I miss it.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond anything else, I just missed it, and I was
Right.
like, let me get a feeler, see where I can get my feet wet. And
I remember, where'd you DJ? I remember the out
So-
of retirement party.
well, it might have been, where was it? It was probably Highlight Room, or
I think it was.
it might have been
Or
because
Avenue?
or Avenue, because I really got in.
Oh,
good
it might
with-
have been Avenue.
I got
Yeah, it
in
was
really
Avenue.
good with Tao
Yeah.
and shout out to Greg, and
Tyler.
Tyler.
and yeah, and oh god, why am I forgetting? What was the music director's name? The girl that was there before.
Oh,
She left for
Amanda?
Bolton
Camille?
House.
Oh,
Oh,
Deb.
Debbie.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Deb.
man, let me. I
Debbie.
got
Deborah.
I gotta give her a huge shout out, because like I remember everybody setting her up to me like she was like the toughest person.
She is, but like she's
Which is probably
a sweetheart
accurate.
though. Yeah.
Absolute sweetheart, whatever. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the way I got back in there was, or I even got in there, I should say, because I couldn't for the life of me, right? You know, I get it. Like, why would we take this risk on this dude,
Yeah.
right? Like, what does he bring to the table? And so I remember the way I set it up was, an anniversary party for the store. And I was like, look,
Yep,
I got this
I remember
store.
that,
It's
yep.
got this following, like whatever, like kind of use it as like a cheat code, right? And then
It's not a
Leverage,
cheat
yeah.
code. It's value.
It's-
That's the
yeah.
thing too. Like
right.
that shit is like, that's what it is today.
Yeah.
Like, what do you bring?
Yeah.
What value you bring? Yeah.
Just
'cause
just
the
being a
venue.
DJ is not good enough anymore. Unfortunately, like
Yeah.
there's so many just DJs.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to. And I'm not saying like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like,
I
you
get
got
what
to
you're saying.
bring value.
Yeah.
In one way or another.
Yeah, because I sold them the whole thing, right? Like I think it was a 4-year anniversary, and I remember making these like platinum record invites. Like we made a record invite and we would hand it out. It was like our 4-year anniversary, and then I designed like a 4 times platinum merch
Yeah.
Huh.
T-shirt for
Must have
Avenue.
Mine must have got lost. in the
No,
mail.
you probably were busy or you got thrown away. But I remember like handing them out, and that was like it made it this thing, and then she made it a point to be there, and then I forgot like what happened or who was there. Like maybe Gobin was there, and like Gobin,
Of course, Bart.
yeah, Bart, yeah. So Gobin I think pulled up on his own and like went crazy, like showed me love, and it really turned Deb's like head and was like,
Who is this
who
guy?
the fuck is this
Yeah,
guy?
yeah,
and
yeah.
then beyond anything, like I would say fairly creative with my sets and like set some stuff up, and she was just like oh shit, you're not just like a brand, like you actually know how to fucking
Yeah.
DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And then that got me in with them, and then so much so that Ian Fletcher came out a couple times after I had established myself, and he's like, you know what, fuck it, like can I just like represent you and put you in a couple rooms? And
shit.
I was like, fuck it, like what do we have to lose,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and surely enough, like he actually hit up, shout out to Mike Snediger. He hit up
Yeah.
Mike and he was like, you really got to give Mickey a shot. And I was supposed to headline in Tao, and that was July 2020.
Oh shit.
And
So it was
so-
booked before
So
March.
before COVID.
Right.
And
Damn.
so it was all booked out, and I was gonna do, and I was kind of headed back into it after I was like, oh, I'm not gonna really do it, but I'm gonna do these like rooms that I have fun with,
Right,
and eventually Avenue became a monthly, Highlight Room became a monthly, and then I
And that's the bucket list, right?
Yeah,
for a lot of
obviously you
people.
were
A lot
doing
of
Hayes,
people,
but
yeah.
like
yeah,
but
but to that day I still
Tao
had,
is like that room that like
yeah,
is like, bro, how it's 2005, it's
nuts,
20 years old.
yeah,
October
2005. Yep.
2005, I think.
and
is when it
and even then like,
I mean, almost 20 years old.
About to be 20. Yeah.
and even then like like every LA DJ or like LA expanded or greater LA area I should say, like every DJ that grew up in this area, like these are the rooms they like look up to, wanting
Yeah.
to be in,
Yeah.
Bro,
and so I got a lot
The
of
Vice
like,
residency,
how the fuck did you do that?
DJ 5
Yeah,
every
for
Thursday.
sure.
Every
Bro,
Thursday.
You know how many times I fucking would pull up to just see this dude
Yeah.
or you or you
Phenom.
guys, like bro, like exactly. And so it was one of those things where I was like, okay, cool. This might be like something I can do off to the side, because what does it
Yeah.
take? What does it cost me to do a day out of like what I'm doing and everything else?
Right.
And then COVID hit, and then honestly, like just like deflated me. Like I did like one Twitch stream where like I got really creative, and I had like this Super Mario set up, and I was playing like theme songs that like are Nintendo 64 like
Yeah.
song. And, like
Oh,
I
that's
got
dope.
creative as fuck, and I was like, the amount of emotional energy that took, like I was like, I'm done. Like I did it for my birthday.
I remember, yeah.
Like did a
I
stream from
remember.
the store.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend, like fresh girlfriend at the time, who now is like, basically my wife. Like she was like the one holding it down behind the computer, like not knowing what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
And
The
so
Stream
like,
Deck and shit.
yeah, like, yeah. And so, I think that was the point where I was like, you know what, I'm good. Like I'm good doing that. So like, would I have the businesses today that if I kept DJing? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so, because the lifestyle, as much as we want to admit that it doesn't affect like everything else, for me,
Who
it
doesn't want to
would.
admit?
I mean, I don't know. I think people feel like they can go
That's-
still do whatever they're gonna do, but
Nah.
it's difficult.
It's
know,
hard
like,
to do it at a high level and like travel and alcohol, right?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Because like, I mean, look, like DJing is like one of those careers where it's like, if you are successful, like you literally could just work those like 3-4 days a week, and then what are you doing with those other 3 days? Not much.
Yeah.
Like, if we're being honest, when you're like kind of like not so strategic.
Making lattes
Yeah.
or playing Call of Duty, as our other friend does,
Yeah.
until 5 a.m.
And that's all. And I think that's all fine. But like, when you really think about like, damn, if I would have maximized the time that I have available versus like, oh, I know I'm gonna get paid on Friday or Thursday or Saturday, like I'm good. But we don't think about like, oh, what could I be doing during this time to set myself up for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that shit for sure. When I was hitting like the peak, I was like, man, I got this check from Infusion. I got this check from DJing. Like, I got guaranteed X amount of gigs a month. Like, I got this shit figured out. I could fuck around the rest of the like week. Not thinking like, man, like, number one, I should probably diversify some shit to some stocks. Number two, I should probably look into like, you know, whatever, like, you know, just new things. Could have bought a house, should have bought a house, didn't buy a house. Like, you know, all these different things that we don't really like value, I guess, if you don't have the right room. And so I think, you know, that's kind of maybe long answer for that first question. And then second question, if I was still DJing, like what it would look like.
I mean, it's hard.
It's such a hard question because like I do genuinely feel like I could have made a run. I think I was creative enough. I was good enough to like kind of be like give that name. And like I still feel to this day, if I went out and like did some shit, like,
and I think
I could get people to come out, you know, type thing.
No, for sure.
And I also think if you would have stayed, like, I know shit happened and that's why you stopped the podcast, but like I think you giving up DJing made it easy to stop doing the podcast. And I think if you would have been a DJ only, you would have kept that, and that shit would have been massive right now.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, whatever you really dedicate yourself to and like really want to make successful, like can be successful. I think the reality is like where your priorities lay and where like what has the highest impact in your life or happiness really, you know, like is something that like ultimately will drive where you go. And I think for me, it's like there's many times I didn't know where the fuck I was gonna go with this, like, or even like do what I'm doing. Like, you know, I'm at a startup. Like, this is my first startup. I don't know what the fuck my shares mean or what they're going to be worth or what they're worth now. Or, I mean, I have a little bit of an idea now that I've educated myself, but like, you know, when I first joined, it's like, I just know that what I've built is special. Like my wholesale business has been like, and the partnership with Paxson has been incredibly special. You could probably believe this out, but it's like, you know, we've done an 8-figure business like when we were less than fucking 10 people working. Like,
wow.
Damn.
So like there was enough.
You don't have to bleep this out, bro. It's
Let the
motivation, bro.
But like, you know, we had a good sized business like that really was like bootstrapped off of like, you know, an advance of a partnership. And eventually we've built that out to like develop these new partnerships, and now it's amazing, like, man. You know, where we can go with it is like much larger than where I would have gone by myself. Like I always believe in the my boy Corey Circulate, he had this quote on the back of a hoodie that I always reference, but it's like, if you want to go somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to go somewhere far, go together.
Yep.
Right. I might have butchered that a little bit, but
no, yeah.
That's essentially like the concept now, where it's like just trying to figure out a way to like empower people in different areas so I don't have to worry about it. Like that's what we did with Mag. You know, I brought my brother on, I brought my cousin on, and like people who like I trust and I don't have to look back, and we're going to continue to grow there. The warehouse side, I mean, Rel runs the entire warehouse.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, he's our warehouse manager, and beyond that he runs like literally like top to bottom relationship with Paxson. And
wow.
You know, I brought him on, he was looking for something to do off to the side. Yo, like, let's diversify our lives, right? Like he's
love it.
Crushing it on the DJing side still, but you know, what else can we do that we can build something for ourselves, right? And so he's been super helpful there. Obviously I trust him with my life. And then, you know, meanwhile I can afford to take 2 days to go work at this office and shake hands and try to get some stuff done. Which there's probably some deals I can speak about offline, but like it's some of the biggest fucking numbers and opportunities and things that I never thought I'd see in my life.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So,
It's almost like like working with D and Ghost. Like I know you're getting paid and you're getting paid well, but it's almost like I would almost intern there for free. The amount of value that you get just from him
being
alone,
around,
yeah.
and like just his relationships, like the people he'll connect you with. Oh,
Yeah.
like bro, I'll still to this day like get emails from D and like, fucking, hey, this guy wants merch. Meet Eric, and I'm just like, and this guy's like, yeah, I want to do fucking 50,000 hoodies,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like, I'm not your guy, bro. Like it's just thank you, D, but like I can't. Like I kind of took a step back from like doing
Yeah, but
merch
you don't have
and
to
shit.
do it yourself. You got the relationships. You make $1 a piece.
I know it was like an overwhelming
Okay.
time.
Fair enough.
The timing was wrong.
See, I
bro.
look at it the other way.
No, I do too. Trust me, but I'm still the one that like,
Yeah.
even though, because
You
dude,
think
you
so,
know
yeah.
how it is. Like, yeah, you can have people do tasks and hand it off here and there. I'm still the contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still on me if something goes
reflection of
wrong.
you,
Like
yeah.
50,000 hoodies are misprinted. That's on me.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Just gotta have a
Crazy,
process
man.
in place.
yeah. But man,
That was inspiring, dog.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that was great.
I want to just end with like, there's a DJ right now listening, probably wanted to quit DJing for a while and doesn't really want to take the risk or doesn't believe in himself enough. Any advice that maybe your mental coach or just
Yeah.
anything that could just make them believe in themselves, or because I'm big on like taking a risk, like I think I got it tatted to myself on my leg.
Take a risk.
Yeah, took the risk.
Took the
I already
risk.
took it, bro.
Yeah, you took it.
Yeah, I took it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy because like it's almost like I'm talking to myself at a different era, right? Like if you asked me 2012, like would I be? I'm like fucking headlining, doing this, like traveling here, having, whatever. And like, when I think about the different route I took, like or had to take, I guess, like obviously zero regrets of how things played out, but ultimately, if you have the discipline to focus on what you want, like you'll get that, and I think some of your most difficult decisions, like, or even like difficult like things you run into in your life, the answer is quite simple, but we choose to complicate it because we either overthink it, we want to take the shortcut, or you want to take the Ozempic, or you
Yeah.
want to fucking
I'm down.
undercut. You want to undercut the next DJ, or do you want to badmouth your competitor, or do you want to pay somebody to get you where you want to go?
Right.
All those things it's like what's sustainable? Like not many. It's like,
Yeah.
so I think as long as you go about it the right way and you're committed to like what that end goal is, then I think you'll get there, and I think the DJing side of things is one of those things where just economically, like there's only so many rooms, right? It's like
So
less
many
and
rooms,
less
there's so
rooms
many
out,
bodies.
like I always bring up like analogies, but like maybe like it's like the NBA, right? Like there's only so many great basketball players,
Yeah.
and there's only so many spots in the roster.
Yeah.
Yep.
And every single spot is like a talented, like best of the best. And there's some amazing DJs out there that are playing in the G League or overseas. And like that could be the IE.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No,
but
but
but it could be like that gig that doesn't pay the same amount of money, or it could be, some small city in the middle of the country. And it could be, damn, I feel sorry. I just threw a stray at the IE, but like those are my people. I love y'all. Don't hate me, but no, really, like you know, there's room for everybody everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's like, I also just like, I would say the only thing is like, what kind of life do you want to live beyond this?
Right.
Because
You kind of just have to like
at like
create it.
because at
on your
what
own.
level
Yeah,
like
think bigger.
like at what age is that bar or is that club, that like small lounge, or is that spot gonna want to keep booking you?
Yeah.
Because there might be one day that you're just tired of the shit, and some young buck who's hungry brings his crowd of homies that are fresh off wanting to go out. They're gonna show up, they're gonna pay the entry bill. Like, it's just so easy to like kind of lose sight of that. And I think as long as like you're continuing to like want to like be the best at your craft and be happy, great. But I don't think it's a bad idea to continue to build some sort of like diversification
Yeah.
in your life of just like what does make you happy.
Yeah.
Like fuck the money. Like money can be found as long as you're willing to set your ego aside.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes our egos block us from what is good for us.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is like some of that shit's boring, but it's literally the difference between like check to check to like some savings and building and future. And so I think that's like kind of like how I may have looked at it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Nah, it's well put. Shit.
Yeah, bro. Amazing. And I'm going to get your guy's number again because
No,
I need them 8 figures.
No, I'm an active goer. I'm gonna put you in a group chat. I'm gonna fucking bump it. I'm gonna be like, you guys need to fucking
Bump
talk.
us up. Because,
Because I'm a much, I just try to get it done now.
No, but I to me, it's like, you're right. Your mental state is going to determine everything, not only in business and friendships and family. Like, you have to be, and it's hard, right? Like, it's hard to like, wait, I think about this shit all the time. It's like, man, being happy is like literally a daily struggle. And what I mean is like, there's so much shit going around, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, they're trying us, right?
They're
Every day.
trying.
They're trying you. So, and that's anything, man. Like, you could wake up feeling beautiful and like a family member will call you with some stress, and it's just like, damn, like someone's always going through something,
For sure.
you know? So like, yeah, you just gotta try your hardest to be happy. And like I said, it might need help. So, you know, if there's, don't be afraid or too cool or let your ego get in the way of like having some type of mentor or like some type of help to talk to, you know, because some people, it's that manly shit, right? People are like, oh, too man for that.
Machismo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think just like, always expect the bullshit. And then when it doesn't come, then it was a better day.
Oh, I have low expectations, baby. No expectations.
No expectations.
But yeah, Mickey, thank
Hey.
you, bro.
Thanks,
Thanks
dog.
for having me.
No, thanks for coming. Finally.
Hell yeah.
Years in the making. Next time we'll set up the DJs, the DJ stream, and then we'll do like your old Mickey D style.
You know, it's funny.
Do a DJ set.
Put a little hoop
You know-
right there too.
You know what's funny? I was talking to my homegirl Tway. Have you guys been to DD's yet?
I went once
La
with D.
Cienega? Oh, with D?
Yeah,
Okay.
D invited me to dinner and
Fire
DD's, right?
DD's, yeah. Fire Vietnamese food.
Haven't been yet, but
it-
yeah.
So it's pretty
On the
fire.
list.
Huh?
It's on my list.
It's on your list? Yeah. So Hainan chicken, steak salad, fire.
I forgot what I got. It was good though.
Gas, yeah. But I was telling her, it's so funny. She had her 1 year anniversary recently, and I was like, "Do you think like a 6 to like 9 party would rock? Like people leave their desk and they just come
Yeah.
like party before it gets too late."
It's called
I'm
happy
like-
hour.
Yeah, it's called happy hour, right? But I'm like, what if we flipped it around and turned it into a thing so people can be in bed early? I'm like, I would do that.
Dude,
I would DJ that party.
Yeah.
that's the new shit. Like
yeah.
people want
That
to
was-
like day. That's why day
Day
parties are so
parties,
big,
yeah.
bro.
That was
People
deep,
want to
man.
get
Hey.
smacked and then be in bed by like 9 p.m.
No one wants to be in a club at midnight on a Sunday.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
that shit sucks.
Exactly.
Especially like the young. Like that's like a.
Yeah.
This is
Or
literally
like how the young people
This
think,
is
you know,
like
Yeah.
like data. Like this is
Yeah, I literally don't go out
Facts were
Saturday so I can play
nightclubs-
basketball on Sunday morning.
nightclubs are not like performing like they used to,
Yeah.
and that's why festivals and like day parties are big as fuck
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
people just
Yeah,
want to go to bed early.
Or what we would call it back then, kickback.
kickback.
House
Oh, I
parties.
love me a
party.
kickback. All right, thank you, bro.
Thanks,
you.
Nick.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys
thank
for
you.
listening, and thank you to our key grip, Gene Hove.
Thanks, Gene.
Did-
Gene's hungry.
He did nothing, but it's fine. All right, thanks for listening. We'll be back one day.
One day.
Later.
Tell us if you want more.
Yeah, peace.